Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I get to show you a new collection from Spellbinders. This is called Spotlight Frames and Florals. Let's start with the layered anemone dies. You can make two different sizes of flowers with this. It comes with the stems and the leaves and the centers for them. This little set here I'm so excited about. The set is called You Make Me Smile, and I love the font on this. And I also love that it has two layering outlines for it. This set comes with a few stamps and a die to cut out all of these stamps. They also have these soft rounded edges to them. It's just a fun look for your cards. And of course, they all coordinate with the smile die. They say, "It looks good on you, it's your special day, it's the best medicine, it's your birthday, and you make me." Now this die is so much fun. This one is called the Woven Latticed Texture die. And I went crazy with that one, as you'll see here in a minute. I cut out tons of different colors of cardstock with it. And last, I have the Spotlight Circle Duo press plates. This is an A2 sized panel, so you get an idea of the size of these plates. In this video, I'm going to be making some feminine and masculine cards using this set. So I'm going to start with the woven lattice. I love this. I'm going to cut it out with some purple cardstock, but I'll show you all of the other colors that I cut it out with as well. I don't often show my die cutting, but I thought I would this time. So I made the right sandwich for this die, and I like to run it through at least twice. Make sure you can get all of the little pieces out easily. I'm going to use a tray when I do this because it can get kind of messy with all these little bits. So let me pull off the die. And it just comes out easily. I'm going to use my all-in-one tool, kind of brush some of the small bits out. If you don't have this tool, you can kind of bend the die cut piece and they'll just start falling out very easily. Some of the more stubborn ones I'll use the pokey tool with, and then just kind of brush them away. But I would definitely at least cut this out twice. But here it is. Isn't that just adorable? Oh, there's one more bit there. So I also cut out a pink one. It's just a fun texture for your backgrounds. Here's a sage green. And this one is Barely Peach, June, and here is a black one. You could also use two of these cutouts, and it would cover completely your A2 sized panel like so. But I just thought it was such a clever die, and here is a white one. It also makes these cute little bits if you like to make shaker cards. These would be perfect for a shaker card. So like I said, if you don't have the all-in-one tool, you can just kind of pull them out with your fingers. I'm just gently bending it and popping out the bits. I cut this one out of some purple cardstock. It's a dark, deep purple called Plum. And this is the one I'm going to use on card number 1. I'll go ahead and stamp out the sentiments. I'm just going to be using some white cardstock for this. I'm going to pop this in my Mini Misty and ink it up with some black ink. This ink that I'm going to use is VersaFine Onyx Black. This is a nice dark black ink. I love this stuff. And then I will gently stamp it out a few times. I'll only show one stamping though. And then let me show you how fun and easy it is to die cut these. I'll center this die around the sentiments and tape it in place so it doesn't shift. I'll run this through my Platinum 6 off camera this time. And then here are all of the sentiments ready to go. I'm going to be using most of these sentiments in today's video. And now for the sentiments, I'm going to cut out all 3 layers to this. And the double layer matting behind the smile just looks so sharp. I wish all word dies came with double layers. So here's the smile. I cut that out with plum. And here is the first layer. And I cut that out with a lighter purple cardstock. And then the largest shadow piece I'm cutting out with white. And these are very simple and easy to glue together. I love that the dot over the eye is connected. You don't have to worry about losing that. I'm going to put them together with little dots of glue. And I lost my purple shadow. There it is. And then I'm going to glue this onto the white shadow. With a liquid glue, you can kind of wiggle it into place until it dries completely. And now for the white shadow. And you'll see how nice these look with the double matting. They also have a set like this that says hello, and that is definitely on my want list. Let's put a few of these anemones together next. So since they are layering, I thought I'd use 2 different colors of purple. And then the center has 2 pieces as well. I cut that out with some beeswax yellow and then white. And I didn't like the layering piece, the white layering piece, so I am going to change that back to beeswax in just a minute. But this would look cute with some glitter cardstock in the center as well. Now for the stem, and I cut that out with some very pale green, which is called sage green. This is where I'm going to add the yellow layer back on top. And it has 2 little leaves you can put on the stem. They're just small, delicate flowers, but they're so pretty. And now I can start putting together card number 1. To attach my woven lattice piece, I'm just using little dabs of glue. And I'm not worried about getting this completely flat against the paper. I like it to look like there's some lift to it, which adds dimension. And then I'm adding it onto a piece of beeswax cardstock, and I cut this out with a notched corner frame. And I can glue this piece onto some white cardstock. And that woven lattice does look black, but it's cut out with the plum, the dark purple cardstock. I'll glue down the anemone next. And now for my smile die cut, and I added some foam squares behind that. And then my secondary sentiments, I'm also going to pop up with a foam strip. So the complete sentiment says, "Smile, it looks good on you." And I'll attach this just under the smile, but let me trim off the foam strip and press this into place. For an embellishment, I'm using some Fashion Lilac pearls. And I'll scatter these around the panel. In June, Spellbinders is coming out with some new gems. And you can see the new colors in the Coming Soon section on their website. They have some beautiful colors. I'm so excited for those. I'll attach this to a top folding card base. And then this card is done. Let me give you a close-up look at it. This is such a fun collection. I love using complementary colors on my cards, especially this purple and yellow together. Before I move on to card number 2, I'm going to create a few panels using the Spotlight Circle Duo Press plates. And this is some gray cotton cardstock that I'm using. It's called Pebble. And I'm going to create 2 panels. First, I'll use some blue BetterPress inks. I like to put a little bit of rolled up tape on the back of the paper and then pick it up with the door. And then I can start adding ink to the plate. I'm going to use a light ink up at the top. And I go over it several times just to make sure it's nice and dark. So my lightest ink was Cruise, and my middle color is Teal Topaz. I kind of press and pivot just to get the ink on the plates. The darkest color will be Cosmic Sky. Sorry, there was a little hair on the plate. I wanted to get that out. I'm overlapping these colors a little bit. And if you do this, you'll want to make sure you use your lightest ink first and then your darkest ink last, so you don't get any dark ink on your light colored ink pads. Isn't this pretty? I love the blues. Okay, I'm going to do one more panel, and this time I'm going to use some pinks. Wipe off the plate. I'm just using a microfiber cloth to do this, and I'll center this again. The magnet's pretty strong, so I do have to lift up the whole magnet and kind of bend it so I can get the plate off. I'm using Taffy as my lightest color. And then I'll come in with a darker color that is called Wild Berry. And then my darkest color is more of a red pink, and it's called Strawberry. And again, I went with the lightest color first and ended with the darkest color. And I'm overlapping the colors just a little bit. I'm going to add a little more taffy at the top. It just didn't look like it was dark enough. And then I can add the paper on top and the lid. I'm using the Pebble cardstock again, just the very pale gray. And then I'll take this off camera and run it through my Platinum 6. Let's see how the pink turned out. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, for card number 2, I used my Everlasting Circle dies to cut out a window. I'll glue this down flat around the circle. And you can really tell that the color of the cardstock is gray once I put this white circle down onto it. I cut out the smile with some pink cardstock. This is Wild Berry cardstock. I'm attaching it to a white card base. I'm just going to use one shadow layer for this card. And then I'll attach a bunch of the anemone flowers. I'm going lightest to darkest like I did with the inks. I'll pop these up with some foam squares. I'm going to curve these around the circle. Here is my last piece. I do come in with some of the leaves and glue them down around the flowers. First, I'm going to attach the smile with more foam. Now I can attach the sentiment that says, "You make me." I'm going to put this up at the top this time. And I'm just gluing it down flat. Now for a few leaves around the flowers. This adds a lot to this card. I'll attach it to another top folding white card base. And then I am going to add a few gems on this card. These are from the Crystal Mix pack. This has a pretty pop of sparkle to this card. Let me give you a close-up look at card number 2. And then we're going to create some masculine cards using all of these products. For card number 3, I'm using the panel I created with the blue inks. I cut out the smile sentiment with some white cardstock. Then I'm going to put a light blue matte behind it. And then a dark blue behind that. This is a really simple and fast card to create. Next, I'm going to cut out this panel. I'm using one of the mirrored arch label dies for this. I love these dies. I use these a lot. They have such a pretty shape to them. And then I'm going to attach this to a piece of Cosmic Sky blue cardstock. I'll just use a little dot liner for that. When you layer up all 3 layers to this die set, it is a little bulky, so if you don't want to put foam behind it, it adds a little bit of dimension all on its own. The sentiment says it's your birthday, and then I can attach this panel to another white top folding card base. I attached a few enamel dots around this panel. And now we have a simple masculine birthday card. It's great to have these in your stash. For card number 4, I saved my favorite of the set for last. I'm going to make another masculine birthday card, but I'm going to use the dotted plate. I'm coming in with 3 different colors of brown ink. I used clay for the lightest color, and tawny brown for my medium color, and the dark color is bark. This time I'm using a piece of white, porcelain white, cotton cardstock. And again, I'll take it off camera and run it through my Platinum 6. I can show you how this turned out. It's kind of a subtle look, but I'm going to be layering this panel with the other plate. This time, the lightest color is saffron. It's more of a yellowy brown. And then I'll come in again with the clay and the bark. These 3 colors go really well together, and they're going to be perfect for a masculine card. Now let's add some bark at the bottom. And then I can take this off camera and run it through my Platinum 6 one last time. And here is how it turned out. I didn't put down enough of the saffron ink at the top, so I'm going to take a chance and just add more of the saffron ink. I was undecided for a moment what to do, if I should start completely over. I'm going to chance it. I'll add a little bit of the ink. I'll put the lid back on and run it through the Platinum 6 again. And I got lucky. It turned out perfect. It didn't shift at all. Next, I'm going to cut out these circles with one of the Everlasting Circle dies. This will leave a little bit of a white border around these. And then I'm going to start putting this card together. So I'll use my dot liner this time behind the woven lattice. You can see the dot liner really well, but that's okay. I'm going to be putting the circles over this. I'll attach the dotted circle kind of at the top left. And everything is going down flat on this card. And now for my second circle. There's a lot of fun texture going on with this card. First with the woven lattice die cut, and next with the pressed pieces. And their different patterns of stripes and dots. And now for the smile. This time I cut it out with some dark brown cardstock. This is called Timber. The sentiment that I'm going to glue on next says, "It's your special day." The last thing I add to this card is some sequins. They come from a pack called Latte Smooth Discs. And I'll just add 3 on the front of this panel. And I'll bring in another top folding white card base and attach this with some liquid glue. So again, these fabulous products are from the Spotlight Frames and Florals collection by Lisa Horton. This is definitely one of my favorite collections so far this year. And here's a close-up look at card number 4. Links to these products will be listed in the description box if you want to check them out. It looks like at the time of publishing this video that the Hello and Smile die sets are sold out at Spellbinders online store, but they are still available at scrapbook.com, so I'll put links to both of the online stores. I hope you all have a wonderful crafty day. Bye!